Let's go get some water. Water, 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 water. Water. Let's get some water. Alright, let me post announcements. Hey, what's up, guys? At everyone, I'm Liv. How you guys doing? What's good, McMahon? What's good, Ib? I'm not gonna lie, I had like not like an intense heavy morning. I went and got a haircut, and I had to take care of some stuff from my family, which I might have to take care of some more later. I got a lot of, long story short, I got a lot of packages sent to my place, and I gotta get them shipped somewhere else, so I had to fuck around with some cardboard boxes, pack everything into like a bigger box. It was a whole thing. Yeah, gonna have to focus on that a little bit later. I got like 2 hours with you guys. I'm gonna step out right afterwards. Wanted to talk about some stuff. Yeah, just wanted to go over some stuff, specifically about the latest video, potentially a new video. Let me delete all of this, because all of this is irrelevant. Okay. Philosophy. Yeah. Okay, let me fix this real quick so I can see your guys' comments. Just got up. I didn't get up, actually. I've been up since like 8 a.m. I've been waking up a lot. Almost 9 a.m. I've been waking up like a lot earlier. Which is a good thing, but it is kind of exhausting. Like, it's definitely more productive to wake up at an earlier time, that's for sure, but fuck, dude, like, it really does leave me sort of dead by the end of the night. And it's kind of fucked depending on, like, what I'm doing in the evening. Specifically, like, if I'm sitting down and watching... If I'm sitting down and, like, not watching, but, like, sitting down and, like, playing some games with the boys afterwards, you know what I mean? Booster Call, yeah. I see the Pacifistas are part of the Egghead Buster Call. They're not a part of the Buster Call. They're a part of the... What the... Wait, there's a whole other fucking chapter here that I missed. What the fuck? Julio, why are you starting with beans, man? We were having a good day. You're already starting with this bullshit. Alright. Who wins between Mihawk and an oiled... You and Mihawk in an oiled twerking competition? What the fuck kind of question is that? I don't twerk. I don't even dance. Has Mihawk ever danced? Nah, you're good, Julio. One question that I had in the latest video was a little confused comparing Gamabun to the Sea Beast. I feel like you mostly compared size rather than their strength. No, so yeah. Let me actually I'll touch upon all of this once we get a couple more people in the stream. I do want to talk about that. Yeah. It's not my finest work. I'll definitely say it's not my finest work. And it was honestly like a lot of research that ultimately, like, when I was already editing it, I was like, fuck, actually this might not be it. But it's okay. I'm fine with admitting that, like, not everything that I make might be the most comprehensive. And I actually wanted to put it up anyway, just as like a reminder that, you know, I'm not perfect. I don't think my scaling is exactly perfect either. But we'll talk about just that in a little bit. Hulk versus you. I'm curb stomping the Hulk, little bro. Yeah, it's obvious you would win because you have better experience in the field. What better experience? I don't know how to dance. That's crazy. I love the edited dialogue in the manga panels, though. Naruto, we gotta get the fuck out. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed that. By the way, there was a little scene I added in. I don't know if anybody picked up on it. Let me pull up the video real quick. There was a little scene that I did throw in there as well, a little joke. Uh as just as a hater on my end. Let me get it out. Wait.
Power equal to a Buster Call, and with not much time to deliberate the validity of these claims, due to
Don't ask me, I couldn't even beat pre-time skip Luffy. Oh, thank you, Dia. I appreciate that. Yeah, I kind of just didn't have like anything to really talk about. Yeah, I mean, he couldn't beat pre-time skip Luffy. What do you want me to tell you? Just had a discussion with someone under your last video who said that there's no difference between 99% the light speed and 100% light speed because it's just 1%. That percent is 6 to 7 miles per hour. What is? Let me actually look that up real quick. That was after Madara dropped 2 meteorites on their heads, while the original Naruto and Killer Bee were looking for Master Obito. These are pre-KCMP. Single-handedly solos. Adding Killer Bee is just vibes. I don't agree. Let me see. 7 million miles. Oh, I got you. Oh, okay. I got you. Another Mihawk upscale. Type shit. Versus Battle Wiki speed. I need to look up something real quick. Okay. A value that has E plus 10 usually means that it has 10 zeros, or that it's like, what, 10 zeros overall, right? Yeah, it's like 10 zeros overall, because 1 zero extra means it's another 10 times greater. So speed of light is this number right here. This is to the 8, 2991, wait, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so that's 9 values, so it's 1 point something to the 9, okay, yeah, not my proudest work to argue, but I was doing it while studying, so I didn't put my whole heart into it. No, Memento, honestly, you said a lot of things that I do agree with, and I do want to touch upon them. I also don't want to just, like, hide behind the fact that, like, you know, the video is for like entertainment purposes, because at the end of the day I should still focus mostly on the scaling, whether or not it is for entertainment purposes. It's kind of irrelevant if, you know, the scaling isn't exactly on point, you know what I mean? This is the best. This came at the best time. I'm playing FNAF for the first time and I'm scared out of my mind. I hope you're doing well, Hey Con. How you doing, man? I'm ready to have my ears tickled by Bean Master lore. All right. I'm no Bean Master, all right? You're bugging the fuck out. It's a shame Konoha didn't have someone like Garp to keep the oppressed in check. Listen, someone like Garp would honestly have just kept the entirety of the Uchiha slaughter or the Uchiha massacre, like, on lock. Like, the Uchiha would never have even remotely have tried to perform a coup d'etat if Garp was in the village. As a matter of fact, I probably could just make an entire video on, like, could the Uchiha's coup d'etat happen if Garp is around? Some shit like that. Can Garp stop the Uchiha coup d'etat? That's crazy. I've been watching a series from, like, Spain recently, and instead of a coup d'etat, they call it a un golpe de estado, an attack on the state. It's funny as fuck. Zoro and Sanji versus the Gorosei, they get fucking curb stomped into the ground. They do not stand a chance. Zoro blocking a single Gorosei, like, attack or blowing him back is not enough for me to say, oh yeah, they stand a chance. Let's see how many people are in the stream so far. 13. When we get around somewhere like 20 or something, that's when I'll start, you know, just discussing everything. But yeah, Sengoku couldn't beat pre-time skip Luffy, so I wouldn't exactly hold his word for it when it comes to, like, you know, discussing any of that. Have you seen Freyren? I think the magic system in that series is pretty cool. I haven't seen it. I know of it. I haven't seen it. It seems very chill, very laid back for the most part. At least from, like, a lot of the scenes that have popped up for me on social media. Freyren does seem to be very soft-spoken, and maybe it's just me, but Jesus Christ. Slave-lusted Garp versus Uchiha-lusted Tobirama. Who you got? Jesus Christ. No, I've heard it's a good anime. Julio, I have heard it's a very good anime. I think it was in talks for like anime of the year. I do think that like Freyren is probably up there, and I think in terms of like a narrative and like story writing, I think it'd probably be pretty good. I just haven't checked it out at all. Um I don't know. It takes a lot for me to want to see a series, and most of the time if you want me to like hard focus on something, or if like I'm going to be like really pushed into watching something, it needs to either have big fucking explosions or it needs to be like really fucking funny. Like Konosuba just seemed to have both. Is it better than JJK? I couldn't answer that. I genuinely couldn't answer that. 99% of Naruto's issues come from Hiruzen's fuck ups. Sure, I guess. To be fair, like the whole Uchiha thing probably came more from Tobirama, but I see where you're coming from. Do you hear the drums of oppression, Itachi? Type shit. Type shit. Okay. So are you solo leveling fan? Fuck no, I'm not watching that bullshit. Sung Jin Woo is just somebody's power fantasy, and I'm just not there for it. The video was cool. It's just one person not understanding the percentage based on the reference. He said 1% to Lightspeed didn't matter. It matters. Okay, let me see something. How fast is, I don't know, 99% the speed of light in miles per hour? Okay, so that's how fast 99 times 10 to the 10th power. Okay. Speed of light. Miles per second. Miles per hour. Okay, let me pull up a calculator. Just to have like some actual raw values in here. What is it? 6.6. Actually, I could just, let me just type this in. Fuck. Whatever. Alright, whatever. Let me do it like this. Okay. Times 10 raised... Ooh, wait, no, go back. Go back. Wait. How the fuck do I do it on this calculator? Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Ooh, fuck that up. How do I clear? Oh, there we go. Time. Alright, enough of that. Fuck. Alright, let's go. Times 10. Do I need to change this to a scientific calculator? Yeah. Times 10 raised... Oh, damn it. Clear that again. This times 10... Oh. Wait. Alright. Times 10 raised to the 10th power. Okay, so that's the value. Okay. So... Can I get like an actual value for it in meters per second? 700 million miles per hour. Approximately 700 million miles per hour. Wait, 700 million? Please make my last hour of work bearable. I got you, Drake. I got you. Alright, you're forgetting John Leveling cried once, so his deepest character in fiction. A singular percent of light is around 6 to 7 million miles per hour. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Seems about right. 700 million. 3. So wait, then that number's just fucking wrong then, right? Then this is just fucking wrong then, right? Yeah, okay, okay. Bro, it's just the speed of light times 99 divided by 100. Times 99 divided by 100. Sure, whatever. Speed of light. Alright, what is the speed of light? Meters per second. Sure. Listen, this is why I don't do this is why I don't do fucking calcs, alright? I'm not very savvy with a fucking calculator. Alright, this value. Alright, this value. Okay. This value, you said times 99 divided by 100. You're right. Okay, you're right. It's about like 3 million miles per hour. Yeah, around 300 million meters per second. Isn't it just 3 million meters per second? Hey, Eon, have you seen the Thunder God is Naruto Lightspeed in 2025? I haven't seen it yet. Go ask ChatGPT. The new one gives the math, too. I can just ask that. Sure. Neg diff by math. Your age is showing. Fuck you. That math too high for a PC calculator. Fair enough. Dude, I don't like using ChatGPT. I don't know why. I don't like really relying on AI. Who is more evil between the Konoha elders and the Gorosei? Listen, the Gorosei consider human beings to be fucking insects. I don't know if Konoha elders making fuck decisions about just wanting to protect the village really constitutes them being any worse than, you know, the elders quite literally causing multiple massacres. That's all I'm saying. Alright. We're almost up to 20. Once we get around 20 viewers, then we'll start having this discussion. Fuck it. Let's chat GPT it. Yeah. Okay. I need to know the difference between the speed of light and 99% the speed of light. The difference between the speed of light and light is small in absolute terms, but very significant in terms of physics, especially when it comes to relativistic effects like time dilation and energy. Numerical difference in speed, the speed of light in a vacuum is that. The 99 spent speed of light is this. So it's about, it's about 3 million meters per second. Yeah, so the difference is about 3 million meters per second. What's the difference in miles per hour? Weren't you outer versal? You just got defeated by math. Math doesn't care about the outer verse, man. What the fuck? It's just doing all the math. So it's about 6 million miles per hour. Jesus Christ. Stay logged out. The Gorosei have zero care for life considering what we've seen of them, God's Knights and the World Nobles. I agree. Bungus could have done the math by now. Fuck you. Bungus, listen, I don't wanna be fucking associated with Bungus anymore, alright? Bungus really out here eating beans and shit, are really doing all this crazy shit. What power level do you expect Emu to be? I don't know, man. I don't know. If he's anything stronger than the Gorosei and it's not just hacks based, I mean, shit. Just considering, like, the latest episode of One Piece that we saw, with, like, the Gorosei, like, for example, Venus Juro going out and, like, tagging all the pacifistas so fast that nobody knew what the fuck happened. Even Luffy seeing him trail above him was so fast that, like, he could barely keep up. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, Luffy's out here evading and, like, just running by. Luffy's out here just, like, evading and, like, avoiding, just casually jumping around beams of light, and yet Venus Juro is out here not only blitzing Luffy, but just straight up dashing across the entirety of the island, like, in a split second, bro. I don't know, man. It's crazy. Include Danzo, though. No, Danzo, listen, Danzo's a piece of shit. He has the village's best interest in mind, even if his reasoning is completely fucking absurd. The Gorosei legitimately have disdain for human life, and they don't care about them. It's like I don't even know what I could possibly compare in Naruto to somebody like the Gorosei. Maybe like an Otsutsuki, since the Gorosei essentially view themselves as like higher life forms. What do you think about Zoro beats Awakened Kaido type Zoro glazing? Yo, whoever the fuck says that, Aster, whoever the fuck says that is bugging the ever-living fuck out of their own mind. I don't know what the fuck I could even remotely. I think an anime that's obeying the real laws of physics could be fun. There's a lot you can do with it, like black hole bombs. Yes, they can exist. I have been working with like my own series where the main protagonist does manipulate gravity itself. Granted, I can't say it obeys real laws of physics, since the things he does with black holes is kind of disgusting. But that's neither here nor there. But no one in the village liked Danzo. He isn't even remembered as a Hokage, considering... Well, he wasn't remembered as a Hokage because he technically was... He was only the Hokage in practice, but he was never officially stated to be the Hokage. He was more so like just the Hokage for the moment. Good thing Dory and Bragi were there. I don't even know if they humbled them, because they just got up, and then they just started acting like they had to run away. Like, to me, the term humble would be like, you know, I beat them and they genuinely have nothing that they can do against me. In their case, the Gorosei sort of just kept attacking. You mean he used black holes in the way I'm thinking? Think of it like... I got you right now. Let's bring up some paint. Think of it like this, right? We're actually gonna use... Is there like a shape? Is there like a shapes tool? Oh, there is. So, my character in mind... Oh, fuck. Oh. So, imagine this circle. Okay. And then imagine like a tiny circle in the center, right? And we'll fill that with black. This is a black hole. This is like an outer ring of gravity around it. Think of it like a little like glowing, like a glass bubble. Think of it like think of it like a glass bubble, right? And inside is like a black hole. Like you get to see like you get to see like different colorations and stuff like that going in. It's absorbing everything inside. Now think of, I don't know, a building, right? Think of like, let's say a building, and this would just be the same for like, let's say, mind you, this is like the size of the palm of your hand, right? About the size of a small Rasengan, right? And now, you see this building right here? Think of this building, you could say a building, mountain, continent, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? It doesn't matter, right? If this thing the size of like the palm of your hand were to go through this, yeah. The fuck?
Can I not? Okay, there we go. It just does this. It just, like, erases. I call this graviton eraser. Like, it just erases things that it just comes in contact with. Everything outside, it's literally a black hole, but everything on the outside isn't getting pulled in. Once it touches this transparent glass bubble, ooh. Also, when I mean glass bubble, I don't mean like an actual glass bubble. I just mean like an outer layer just to stop it from sucking everything in. It does that shit. I thought he used them in a freaky way. No, but he could if you wanted him to. Anyway. Yeah, it's like that. And then he can just make one that's like really fucking big. Like, think of like a planet, right? Think of like a planet. Think of like a planet, and then think this eraser, like at its largest size, is just doing this. Ripping out chunks of it, right? Just shit like that. Until you can just essentially eat it all up. But that's like mid-arc shit. That's like mid-series shit. I mean, technically anyone could control a black hole. You just need the mass to start McDonald's maxing. McDonald's maxing type shit. That's crazy. I forgot about that. Danzo was a substitute Hokage. You think Akainu gave Whitebeard that Garp PTSD? He didn't. He didn't. Because Whitebeard literally put him into the ground. He literally sent him into a crevice. An old... Let me repeat this. An old, sick man, far past his prime, sent Akainu, reeling in pain, down a giant fucking crevice. What did he do? Blast part of his face off? Okay, and? Oh, he put a hole through his chest? Yeah, when he caught him off guard. But Akainu got caught off guard too, yeah. And Whitebeard and Whitebeard also got caught off guard. Again, you gotta... I don't care. I don't care. You're not gonna convince me. You're not gonna convince me. I don't know, man. Danzo and Root were working with Orochimaru, though. Were they working? I guess they were working at times with Orochimaru. He did make a couple of deals with them, and that's how he got his arm. So, yeah, they were pretty fucked. But again, Orochimaru experimenting on children, I don't think it's as bad as, like, literally taking adults and children and turning them into slaves and then blasting them in the fucking head if they don't shut up and be quiet. Like... experimenting on people, human experimentation is fucking evil. Let's be clear about this. Human experimentation is fucking evil. But the Gorosei legitimately don't even see human beings as, like, anything more than what we see insects as. It's kind of fucking crazy. That's disrespecting Whitebeard. How is it disrespecting him? He's not on top of the food chain. I really wouldn't argue Whitebeard is on top of the food chain. We'll be talking about that in a second. I'm just waiting to see a couple more people join up on stream. I'm just chilling for a little bit before I really, like, you know, start talking about what it is. If anything, we'll give it, like, until about 30 minutes. Let's, like, what? 3:38, and then we'll, about 3:38, we'll start talking. Also, did you answer? Oh, my bad, brown pants. If Blackbeard's darkness powers were confirmed to be literal black holes, how much would that scale him up? That shit would scale him up like crazy. A black hole is able to... the only things that are able to escape black holes are things that travel at the speed of light, and is essentially able to suck anything in. But here's the thing, like... Blackbeard's black hole doesn't work the same as, like, a normal black hole. It seems to only suck in inanimate objects, and only when he doesn't attack, like, Black Vortex does it seem to suck in anything that isn't an inanimate object, like a person or, like, a living thing or, like, a person. He usually just uses it. Though, like, you know, I'm gonna absorb all the rubble around me, and then I'm gonna shoot it all back out. It's weird. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's weird, because it doesn't necessarily work like a black hole. He did beat Ace when Ace created the Flame Commandment Enkai. Or Entei, I mean. But, and let me not say but first. That attack is stated in one of the Vivre cards to be a star. If you want to take, let me be clear. If you want to, he doesn't suck people in because he didn't suck Ace in whenever he was using his ability, and I haven't seen him exactly suck people into his ability. So I don't know if I would exactly say he sucks everything in. I would say Black Vortex sucks people, Black Hole sucks, non-living things. But if you want to use this, if you want to take the statement that Ace created an actual star, if you want it, well, not an actual star, if you wanted to take that statement that that the Entei is a star, and you wanted to call that and you wanted to take that as literally as possible, I mean this, as literally as possible, then yeah, you can basically get Blackbeard to star level, and anybody who scales above Blackbeard and Ace would be beyond star level. Like, it's kind of fucking stupid. He didn't suck Ace. Eon 2025. That's fair. Fun fact, you can't see light getting pulled in a black hole, because if it's getting pulled, it can't reach your eyes. That's fair. That's actually very fair. Now I'm getting a Sphere of Annihilation D&D item. Look it up and what it does. Sure. Sphere of Annihilation D&D. Sphere of Annihilation. Sure. A 2-meter black sphere is a hole in the multiverse hovering in space, stabilized by a magical field surrounding it. The sphere obliterates all matter it passes through and all matter that passes through it. Artifacts are the exception unless an artifact is susceptible to damage from a Sphere of Annihilation. It passes through the sphere unscathed. Anything else that touches the sphere but isn't wholly engulfed and obliterated by it takes 4d10 damage, force damage. Okay. The sphere is stationary until someone controls it. If you are within 60 feet of an uncontrolled sphere, you can use an action to make the DC 25. Okay, that's a lot, but I see where you're coming from. The biggest leech of One Piece? Probably Blackbeard. That motherfucker waited around for like what, 30 plus years in order to get his thing done. It's kind of crazy. I do think there's a hidden aspect to his powers, given the amount of off-screen defeats he has. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Like with Blackbeard is definitely one of those characters I kind of don't want to talk about without really seeing a full out, like an all-out fight with him. Like the Lost stuff was kind of off-screen. He used the Yami Yami no Mi. Like I'd like to see him fight somebody that actually uses Haki, just because I want to see what Blackbeard can do against an opponent that like legitimately could fight him regardless of their devil fruits. Preferably somebody who doesn't use devil fruits. Preferably. He did so when he pulled up and impelled down. He sucked the Marines in there. Was that true? Let me see. Fuck. We also have to check out Modulo. Alright. And it's... Okay, we're 30 minutes in. It's that. So, let's talk about a couple things. I'm only going to be here for like another hour and a half. I'm not going to spend too much time because I don't have time today. Let me just get through you guys' comments and then we'll talk about what we're going to go through. I'll also double check what you said, Jeff, but I got you, man. Let me actually pull up One Piece real quick. I got you real quick. Jeff, if you can do me a favor while I'm talking, can you just give me the... Can you just give me, like, the chapter number, please, so I can just check it out? I'd appreciate it. Or if anyone can just send me the thing where he, like, sucks in Marines. I just appreciate that. Depends on the distance. The calyx of power required to escape a black hole is a lot lower than you think. Okay, that's fair. In Marineford, he sucks up the Marines once he gets Whitebeard's fruit. I'll check that out too. If you can give me a page for that, Maroon, I would appreciate that. Is that the project you've been working on still in work? And if so, what would be the black hole looks like? What would the black hole look like? Every black hole in anime is sadly missing the... No, so remember this thing I was talking about? So I'll show you real quick. The black hole that I was talking about, and then... Obviously, it's not to scale, but yeah, it would have an event horizon within the bubble. Basically, everything inside of... Everything between this outer layer... Everything between, like, this outer layer and, this outer clear layer and, like, the actual black hole, you would see, like, an actual event horizon, like, on the inside. So, like, let me get, like, a brush, like an oil brush. So you would see, like, everything, like, be sucked in through it. He doesn't... considering the sizes of black holes my main protagonist can, like, pull out, and, like, considering, like, the size and stuff, you would, he has to, like, use these bubbles. He has to, like, essentially use these bubbles, or else he really is just wiping almost anything and everything out. But that's just it. It did look like Blackbeard was able to do something with his punches against Whitebeard. I think I know what you're talking about. We'll go into it. It was when he absorbed Whitebeard's attack, right? Most interesting part about Blackbeard's Devil Fruit is it doesn't even stop at physical objects, but even metaphysical things like Devil Fruit souls and abilities. I don't recall that. Souls and abilities? I don't recall that. Do you think even Blackbeard is stronger than... Do you think current Blackbeard is stronger than Prime Whitebeard? Not Prime. Old Whitebeard, sure. You could probably make the argument that he's stronger than, like, old Whitebeard. I don't believe current. I don't believe Prime Whitebeard. Kaido hitting from the back, bending down when Fleet Admiral steps out of his office. Kaido's not in the story, so I don't know how that happened. The original Sphere of Annihilation was simpler. Whatever it erases is gone. Not even divine power or a wish can reverse such destruction. I do have a character like that uses this thing called Malachite. This concept that I call Malachite. Essentially, they're like these, essentially, think of them like, Crash Bandicoot crystals. Think of them like the Crash Bandicoot, crystals. Yeah, think of it like Crash Bandicoot crystals that are, like, very small, like they could literally fit in the size of your hand, but they essentially have... they essentially are built up of, like, this extremely unstable manner, this extremely unstable energy. They're super fucking volatile. Like, even getting like depending on like what exactly is making contact with them, they could just fucking explode. And a crystal, let's say like the size, like if you were to like just let's say just hold your finger, like your index finger and your thumb up, and were to just put them like relatively close to one another, a crystal of that size would like wipe out a city in terms of like matter. And I'm talking about like all fucking matter. Okay, I got you. 550, 577, and 543. I'll check out 543, then 577. Thank you so much. Thank you. You said 543? Got you. So what's this project? Is it canceled? You didn't answer that. The project isn't canceled. It's just something I've been working on for like since I was like a fucking kid. It's a story that I'm writing, but I don't want to even remotely start working on it until I have the money necessary to not only get an artist, because I don't want to use AI art. I don't think like AI art is bad. I just would rather have an actual artist work on it. It also just removes any controversies from it. But I'd also need help actually writing it out. I have the entire story and all the events lined out. For the most part, I have to figure out like the ending and the final villain still. I have all the concepts ready. I just have to figure out how the fights are going to go and everything, and just like how everything is going to evolve into the final arc. But besides that, everything's basically figured out. The only complicated portion is that I am going to be using like 4 power systems on it, but there's going to be like 1 main power system. Okay, you're not going to waste my time. Bazooka troops. Okay, yeah, they do get sucked in and then they do get sucked out. Okay, you're right. I was wrong. You're right. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. And then 577. Yeah, so it does suck in people. I was wrong about that. You said 577? Yeah, you're right. He also does pull them in. He does pull them in. It was just an example for Ace. I was only thinking about the Ace example, so yeah, you were right. Dude, he's doing this shit with like the first ever use of his fruit. He did this with like the first ever use of that fruit. That's kind of fucking crazy. No, yeah, he absorbed Whitebeard's slash, but he wasn't like comparable to him. Did you do some sketches and stuff? No, I just have the entire outline. As a matter of fact, I probably should start writing it though. I probably should start writing it at some point. I don't have like any outline or anything. It's all in my head. It's legitimately all in my head. But I've got like every single story arc. It's got at least over 10 arcs. And it's a progressive increase in power. It's not like the characters start off overpowered. As a matter of fact, the main protagonist doesn't like become strong, like at least by relative terms to like, I'll put it like this. The main protagonist is relatively weak for like the first few arcs. He starts off getting stronger around like the midway point of the story. It's not like he isn't progressively getting more powerful, but he's not seen as like a legitimate threat until like the midway point of the story. And by like the latter half of the story, he's most of the verse itself can't stop him. Like, it really just is the tippity top of the verses of like each and every universe that's within this story that can like just combat with one another. It's not even remotely close. Have you ever heard of the white hole? Yes, he actually does use the concept of white holes. He actually uses this thing where like he makes multiple black holes in order to intercept different kinds of attacks. He stores them away in like a specific space, and then whenever he uses white hole, he essentially sends out all of the energy he stored up. He essentially just creates a reverse singularity that like just shoots everything out at once. Essentially, he uses his opponent's own power against them, but he can't. I do some shenanigans. He has some shenanigans. Blackbeard just looks up the low skill overpowered stuff just like you play Elden Ring. Fuck you, but true. Type shit. It's not low skill overpowered stuff. The shit that I had to go through just to become as overpowered as I was in Elden Ring. Listen, it took skill to get to that point in the first place. This is really funny because I aim to be a mangaka in the future as well and draw my own stories. I'll be rooting for you. I got you, Dia. If anything, hey, if you ever show me your artworks and stuff like that, if you're in the Discord server, send me some of your artwork. I'd be down to work with somebody. Like the thing about my story is that like the arcs are gonna be I don't think the arcs are gonna be very long, but there are gonna be a lot of fucking arcs. I just need somebody to also help me like really flesh out the characters and stuff like that, because I mostly just focused I will admit that, like, I do have the same issue that many mangaka or just many writers have in general, that I mostly just focus on the main characters. I feel like this is one of those cases where, like, I would mostly focus on side characters, once, like, I'm actually working with the story. But that's neither here nor there. Alright. Theoretical about a reverse that creates matter and energy instead of absorbing it. Yeah, in my case, the white hole would be a release of all of the energy that was stored up within all the black holes that he absorbs. Blackbeard has IQ, a lurking legend in the making. Oda confirmed that in SBS, at least 5 comics that exist in One Piece, and they were references to Doraemon, Pokemon. Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't know that. Do you guys think the fan letter is more emotional than Naruto? I cried at the end of the fan letter. I can't tell you that it's more emotional than the entirety of Naruto, and I don't think that the fan letter in a vacuum could really be that emotional. In a vacuum, as in, like, if you have no context for everything, I think you can, like, arise some emotions out of you, but I think that, like, if you are a genuine One Piece fan and you have legitimately kept up with, like, the entirety of the story, watching the fan letter will at least get you to be emotional. I do need to get my own original story worked on. My sister is going to help me with publishing and the art side of things. That's lovely, Drake. Holy shit. Yeah, let me know when you got it, man. Let me know when you put up, like, the first chapter, like, with art and everything, man. I would love to just really give it a look at. The reason why it's called Solo Leveling is because the show has a singular character who is looks acting the entire time without any real progression. With my story, at least, the main protagonist starts off with no powers, gets a... Think of it like an Iron Man suit. The Iron Man suit fuses with him eventually, and it eventually progresses on and on and on and on. He does get the main power source of the verse, but he ends up getting one of the other 4 power systems. The other 2 power systems are sort of lacking because they've essentially been erased from existence. They've essentially been erased. Like, I do want to go from, like, the perspective that 2 of the power systems are less developed, but they're less developed for narrative reasons, not for not for, like, writing reasons. Would Brook's soul powers work on everyone in Bleach since he can affect them with his music and attacks? Probably. I don't know why that would be a limitation. I don't know if there would be a limitation other than, like, Bleach characters being so strong, abilities don't work on them. Yeah, I can only imagine the pain you felt while searching up the guide. That must have taken you, like, 5 minutes. What guide? It must have taken you, like, 5 minutes? Yeah, but the shit you gotta do within the guide is not easy. I would help with the art, but I can't draw for shit. Same goes for the writing. I appreciate the help nonetheless. I mean, I'm not pro-level drawer or anything. I can draw here and there. I can send you some of my art. I appreciate it. Hey, man, listen, talent is talent at the end of the day, and I don't plan on getting this out in years. So if you're a consistent artist, I would say that, like, anybody who can consistently draw and anyone who can draw to an above average degree and who can consistently practice that or any other medium for years and years, whether not even years and years, if you can practice something, if you are remotely above average for anything, and you can practice that for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you can become decently proficient at it, decently proficient at it within a couple of years. Brook, unlike much of Bleach, has proper swordsman skills. Well, he uses a parry and fencing style of swordplay, which is an actual sword art. I don't know if Bleach actually has any kind of sword fighting besides kendo, because I know that, like, the Soul Reapers at least use kendo. But anyway, that's enough of that. I would help my partner draw out panels. I do one panel, he does the other, and we would attempt doing double page spreads. We already have the character and the story down. Lovely. Hey, what's up, Zad? Zedox. Ooh, okay. So, let's discuss this. Okay, so, this video, as I mentioned before... Holy shit, there's 140 comments already. God damn. I don't agree with this ignoring durability. He's not tanking that, plus B can snipe him with a Biju bomb as well. Plus, there's no reason why Naruto can't use chakra arms like Doofy did in a way. Kind of parry off Fujitora. The gravity has an impact time, and it's just chakra. There's no reason why the arms could not work. Alright. Let's, what is it? 790, 80, 90, something, right? Okay, Luffy already beats Doflamingo by 791. Fujitora bowing like the fucking Chad he is. Couple days go by. Thank you for your kind words. No worries, man. Listen, any community should should always try to uplift one another. It's a firm belief of mine. Whether you're a novice, intermediate, or an expert in something, it's still something to be proud of. A lot of people can't do a lot of things. I, for one, like, I used to draw myself, and I used to enjoy it for the most part, but it's just not something that, like, as an adult I do much of now, if not at all. And, you know, my grandmother herself was an artist. I do appreciate artists of any kind. I do appreciate, and I do really have a lot of respect for artists of any kind, whether it's writing, painting, or drawing on a canvas, on a piece of paper, or even, you know, a sketch pad. A tablet, I mean. It's all impressive. It's not just that, it even goes into, like, music and stuff like that, right? Like, it's something that the average person can't do, and I firmly do believe that, like, holy shit, that's a lot of fucking rubble. All the rubble of the kingdom is gathering in the air, hovering over beast ports. It's the work of Admiral Fujitora. Well, I reckoned it was only in the way, so I took it upon myself to use it. The remains of the battlefield left behind by those infernal pirates. Vice Admiral Bastille, yes, it's true. You still need that backup to all Marines. No need for backup in the East anymore. They're like, yo, we got an Admiral working. There's kind of no need for backup anymore. That's crazy. Evacuate to a safe zone. Does he mean to subdue the pirates with that display? But no one could survive that. Yeah. Here he comes. Woo, Mr. Luffy! Hurry up, man. Just leap straight onto the boat. Hey, old gambler man. Blocks the attack. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about a comment like this? If Luffy is even remotely serious with this attack, that means Fujitora just casually blocked a continental attack. What, like, oh shit. Like, he has no scratch marks on him. It's kind of crazy. Now, here comes a kick and a punch. I agree with Luffy's statement, but why is he fighting that way? It makes no sense. It's time for a serious fight. I'm not running away anymore. I can tell you've got the strength to back your words up. I appreciate your spirit ranks or one incarnation. Do you think you're doing calling out your moves ahead? Is it sympathy? I'm an admiral at HQ called a monster far and wide. I don't take it simple display of pity. Does it bother you that a blind man is on the battlefield? But if you wanted to get my goat mission accomplished, your head will fly from your shoulders in a minute. Shut up. I can't just whoop you without saying anything when I already know you can't see. I don't think you're a bad guy, old man. What are you laughing about? I'm gonna kick you. Well, that mercy disappointed. How can you be so logical? Gravity blade? And then he just sends Luffy flying. Yeah, I don't know what he means by that comment. I might have to contribute 10 comments. It's fine. Listen. So, I appreciate the Bleach research. Right, Aster. I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't, like, gone back to Bleach since I started working on this video. I'll probably start it back up next week when I start doing, research just for the next one. There is a topic of conversation that I wanted to ask you guys for, so we'll first talk about the following. I know that a lot of people usually like to recommend me video topics, and I think a lot of them are interesting, but, with the events of this video, I will just wholeheartedly say right here and now, yes, the video is for entertainment purposes, but no, I don't want to just hide behind the shield of me saying that, like, well, it's for entertainment purposes, so the scaling doesn't have to be 100% accurate. When it came to a video like this, I kind of ran into a bit of a wall in terms of the writing, because the Vice Admirals are just kind of unquantifiable, man. It was so fucking annoying. Like, here's the thing, right? I researched this topic with you guys, and it's fine. Like, it's not so much like any of the comments, it's more so me, because I've sat down in previous streams and I've critiqued other YouTubers, or at least not the YouTubers themselves, but other videos or other lines of scaling, because a lot of people like to use this concept of chain scaling. Now, we've talked about chain scaling before, where it's, let's see, chain scaling before, where a character A is stronger than B is stronger than C and D, who tanked a town level attack, but B never fought C or D, so A is stronger than C or D, right? It's essentially just the concept that when you're doing chain scaling, you're essentially doing, the concept where, I'll just use Naruto characters as an example, right? Itachi is stronger than Orochimaru and Kid Naruto and Kid Choji. Kid Naruto tanked, I don't know, an attack that pierced through his lungs. Kid Choji was able to get sent flying, but was able to get picked up and sent flying by a guy like Jirobo. So Itachi should be able to replicate all of those feats, or Itachi should be tougher, or Itachi should be physically stronger, right? Chain scaling can be effective depending on the series that you are talking about, right? Let's talk about, for example, Invincible, right? Let's talk about Invincible as an example, right? Now, I don't scale Invincible. But I do think it's it's fair to, like, let's say, talk about Invincible in, like, the sense, because, for example, you have a guy like Thrag, a guy like Conquest, and a guy like the other Viltrumites, right? Conquest should be above any of the other Viltrumites. Anything these other Viltrumites do, Conquest should be able to replicate, because not only do they all scale near one each other, since they all have the same power set, they also should, if this one is able to survive a nuke, him and him should also be able to survive a nuke, and so should Conquest. If he survived getting ripped in half, then they should both be able to survive getting ripped in half, so on and so forth. That's kind of like the logic that you can sort of follow with Invincible for the most part, right? And the stronger you are, let's say, as a Viltrumite, the more powerful you should be, the more powerful you should be in comparison to any of the other Viltrumites. That is a concept of chain scaling. However, chain scaling doesn't work for every single series. Chain scaling is something that can work for also a series like Dragon Ball, right? Dragon Ball is a series that, for the most part, has a power system and follows the logic that the stronger I am, the faster I am, the more durable I am. If Kid Goten and Kid Trunks, for example, are stronger than, let's say, Frieza from the Namek arc, then they should be stronger than Piccolo, Vegeta, Gohan, Krillin, all these motherfuckers, right? These two kids at the age of 7 or 8 going Super Saiyan should be stronger than all of these fucking characters, right? That's just the basic line of logic through chain scaling that you can apply thanks to something like Dragon Ball, or even something like Invincible. Now, Aster, as you said, I agree with the concept, but the context of Naruto, where durability is based on chakra control, Itachi should be able to upscale at least below Chunin characters, considering the narrative. And I do agree with you to an extent. However, Naruto is also a series that heavily focuses on not all around stat buffs, but more so characters having different capabilities regardless of where they stack compared to one another. Let me show you an example, right? The Raikage and Tsunade are two characters, for example, that are relatively close to one another. Listen, I'm not here to debate who's stronger between A or Tsunade. I don't give a shit. Let me be clear. I don't care who's actually stronger between the two, right? But I think it's very clear to say that whether or not you think that A or Tsunade are relative to one another, or all of these five are close to each other in terms of strength. Like, we're saying relative, right? Like, one, like, Mei could be the weakest, Gaara could be the second, and then, you know, we have a three-way debate between A, Tsunade, and Onoki. The thing is that, for example, right, Tsunade is physically stronger than all of these guys. It does not matter how you choose to look at it. This guy, and her cannot punch as hard as Tsunade. Physically speaking, none of these guys are as physically strong as Tsunade. A can come close, but he's still not as strong, since we can see later on when he hits Madara with an enhanced with a weighted lariat chop, he can't break through a Susanoo ribcage. I'm not gonna go that far because I want to kind of stay on this panel. Onoki would have the highest attack potency via hacks, for example, right? He can atomize and dismantle somebody, right? Because of particle style. Raikage is the fastest. Objectively speaking, he is the fucking fastest, right? If you don't have any other possible ways to do it for a specific video, and you say you're not a fan of it, but you have no other choice, I really think it's heavily based on the context of the series. Aster, you and I agree 100%. And that's the point I'm trying to get to, right? Oh, you felt somewhat hypocritical because of the lack of feats for the Vice Admirals. Yes, I do feel hypocritical, and this was something that I did feel during the entire time I was, editing this video. When I was setting up all of the clips, when I was setting it all up, because when I was setting up all the clips before I started to like argue for them, a couple of things started to like jump at my in the back of my head, because I'm thinking to myself, well, this may not be exactly true. This may not be exactly possible. And for the Vice Admirals, you do have to essentially argue based off of the context that not only are One Piece characters or humans tougher than the average human in other verses, even with just raw base durability, it's not just that. It's the fact that you kind of have to use chain scaling, even though chain scaling isn't something that is necessarily applicable within the context of One Piece. A character like, for example, Kizaru could be relative to Akainu, who could be relative to Aokiji. You can maybe argue that Akainu has the highest attack potency, Kizaru has the highest speed, and Kuzan has the best haki. I don't know. Like, I'm just spitballing shit at that point. But the point I'm trying to get at is that, like, if these characters scale, or at least, at the very least, scale above a character like, let's say, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji from pre-time skip, I think it could be fair to use it, but obviously, without a proper bridge, it's not necessary. I also want to clear up one thing. When I talk about bridge scaling is essentially the concept of using a character in common between all of these guys, using a character in common to be able to figure out how other characters would interact, For example, yesterday I talked about Katakuri, One Piece, actually, well, I'll use this example, I'll use an even better example. One Piece, Yonko Commanders, right? One Piece is also a series with a lot of nuance, right? And I've talked about this before, right? But I'll use this example a little bit better, right? Let's talk about Katakuri and King. I know that some people would say, well, Katakuri and King, Sakura is not the physically strongest character in Naruto. I would not even remotely argue that. There's no way I would believe that. The amount of chakra doesn't matter as much. I think people forget when they say Naruto is planetary. I don't believe that Sakura can punch harder than Naruto. That I don't believe in. Like, she has no feat that is better than Naruto. She legitimately has no feat that is better than Naruto, like punching the shit out of Toneri out of his fucking chakra mode with a punch that is essentially the same thing, which is the same thing as what she does, which is just charging up your fist with all your chakra. But anyway, as an example, people would like to say that because Katakuri is a first commander, he should scale to all these guys, to Marco, to everything. But the thing about someone like Katakuri is that we use Luffy as a bridge. Katakuri, he fought a good fight against Luffy, and I know some people are going to say it was bullshit, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about any of that shit. Katakuri fought against Luffy. Luffy got one shot against Kaido. Zoro with broken bones and essentially extremely exhausted, tanked an attack I wouldn't say off guard, but definitely not in the best condition possible. A Thunder Bagua against a hybrid Kaido. That means the attack that Zoro tanked was more powerful than the attack that Katakuri tanked, right? Gear for Luffy that fought Kaido got blitzed in one shot. Now, whether or not you think Katakuri is still physically faster than Luffy post Whole Cake Island, that's all fine and dandy. Luffy post Udon training still got blitzed by Kaido. King fought Zoro, who was basically back up to full health. Whether or not his bones are broken shouldn't really matter, because Zoro usually fights through all that shit and has had many examples of him fighting with broken bones, a broken body, a damaged body, etc. So Zoro essentially taking the super rejuvenation medicine and being back up to full health means that he is having about as tough of a time, if not a tougher time, against someone like King than someone like Luffy was having against someone like Katakuri, by sheer virtue of Luffy being the bridge. Luffy is the bridge between all of these things, right? Luffy fought Katakuri and fought Kaido. Zoro fought Kaido. Luffy got one shot by Kaido. Zoro, Luffy, and everybody else on the rooftop did not get one shot by Kaido, or Big Mom by that instance. So on and so forth. That is bridge scaling. You're using characters in common with other characters to essentially get the scale off, right? Wait, when did Zoro tank a Thunder Bagua? I'll show you. I'll pull that up right now. It's also a good thing for me to like look these chapters up when I go through the Fujitora stuff. I will say it, I do feel a bit hypocritical in that instance. I do feel a bit hypocritical in that instance because I did have to use chain scaling in a way that I don't necessarily agree with. For the video, does it matter that he tanked the conquest of the sea even more, even for a moment that's impressive? Yeah, no, it's 100%. It's 100% more impressive, but it's 100% more impressive. He tanks it. Wait, do I have this? One second. Let me just see if I have this. Jesus Christ, the way Nami is licking on that shit, yo, the way that Nami is licking on this ice cream cone, Oda was down horrendously. Anyway, back to this shit. Right here. Zoro and, what's-his-face and Law both got blitzed by Kaido. Both got blitzed by Kaido. Yeah, that's Zoro. He also got hit by it. He tanked a Thunder Bagua from Kaido and was still conscious. Gunner Eon strikes again. Fuck off. Eon just wanted to say that I love the way you started Naruto plus Killer V versus the Buster Call. Excellent immersive storytelling incorporated into the... Thank you so much. Yeah, I did try to make it as... I did try to make it as interesting as possible. I do think that, like, incorporating a bit of, like, these events into my power scaling videos might actually make things a bit more interesting, all things considered. I do want to incorporate more stuff like this into my later videos, so it'll take me a bit, but and it might make the videos last a little bit longer since I have to essentially incorporate the concept into a scene that might make sense, but I really do appreciate that at least someone enjoyed it. Eon, just want, is it when they got blitzed by Kaido after getting rid of Big Mom? Zoro almost always fights at a disadvantage. We hardly ever see a fresh Zoro fight a main opponent. And when we do, he absolutely destroys them. Did they get hit by the lightning or the club? Let me just bring that up. Fuck, what episode is this? If you can tell me the episode, I'll pull it up. If you can tell me, like, the episode... Actually, I'll just look it up myself. What episode does Luffy awaken ACOC? 1128. Sure. Well, obviously I can't pull up the full episode, but I will pull up the thing. And also, I don't think they ever really get hit by, like, the lightning itself. I think that, like, they're getting hit by the Thunder Bagua itself. Okay. 10:28, right? Dude, I am starving. What the fuck? I really do need to get some food. Also, I obviously can't bring it up to full size. We're in big trouble. Surpass the Emperors of the Sea. Luffy strikes again. Okay. So he's already up. Okay, so I'm gonna go one chapter back then. Okay. I'm also gonna mute this. Okay. Wait. Alright, it's, Thunder Bagua. Ooh, nope. Yeah, he hit them both. He hit them both with a Thunder Bagua. Yeah, he hit them both with a Thunder Bagua. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he hits them both. I need a woman that loves me the way Toei loves Zoro. That's what I'm saying, bro. Would you rather be Aizen's yes man for 23 hours every week, hearing him talk about his ego, feeding him, nurture him, massage him, or would you rather be tortured brutally and slowly by Orochimaru? I'm not gonna lie, being tortured brutally by Orochimaru is... Oh, the author of Fairy Tail 10,000 times out of 10,000. I remember when I was watching Fairy Tail, one of, like, the later arcs, and I remember I saw Lucy in, like, some... I remember that I saw, like, Lucy in like, an... I think, like, part of her clothes got ripped off, and she had to, like, wear, like, a brand new bikini top or whatever. I think she was wearing some kind of... I don't know if it was, like, a dancer outfit or whatever. Like, it was crazy, bro. I was, like, 15 or 16 at the time. I'm like, yeah, no, this shit is goon bait material. But anyway, yeah, I would rather. I think getting tortured brutally and slowly by Orochimaru would probably be less excruciating than having to hear Aizen quite literally choke on his own phallic member. But anyway, that's not that's enough of that. So yeah, the video doesn't have the most consistent, or at least the most well-rounded argument, at least in my opinion. And that's why I use very specific language within the video where I said, this is all obviously based on whether or not you choose to believe that the Vice Admiral scaling is viable. If you don't, that's completely fine. And honestly, I'm completely fine with it too. I don't think that it was the most well-rounded out argument for the Vice Admirals. I know that somebody brought up a point before about, Franky knocking out Red King. I do bring up the panel around some point here. I do bring up, like, the panel around, fuck, where was it? I should have put some guidelines here. That's on me. It was like around some point here that I remembered I used a specific panel. If anything, I'll just pull it up myself. And one could just argue a difficult one could escape as if Naruto. Yeah, like this is an example, right? Where like Igaram and Pell can survive explosions that essentially take up the entire back of the horizon, or that can tank an entire city, but then at the end of the day, it's like, but what bridges them to that? What would make me believe that like these guys have like the durability necessary for it? You know what I mean? There's also like I think there's also an image I showed early on with the Vice Admirals. Let me see. It I know that I used it at some other point as well, but I didn't. Okay. It was an image of Franky punching the shit out of what's his face. I'll just pull it up. I'll just pull it up myself. I don't really care. Library, One Piece, Egghead, and it was like around here, I think. I'll have a hunt. Oh, right here. Franky punches the shit out of, what's his face? Franky punches the shit out of, Red King. Now, the thing about this feat specifically is that you can either argue that Red King has less durability than he has attack potency, or you can argue that, Franky just scales above Red King himself since he did bust his arm right open. I think it's probably the latter, especially if you think that, or at least it's arguable that it is the latter. Again, this is something that I didn't think about until I started reading in the comment sections, and then I'm like, Sasaki, One Piece. This is one of those like things where like you could also potentially argue, but Franky doesn't really always have like the best punching feats, in my opinion. You can maybe argue that like if any of the Flying Six, if any of the Tobiroppo are stronger than like, let's say, Doflamingo, then, or like their durability is higher than like Doflamingo's Spiderweb, for example, since Doflamingo's Spiderweb can take on Gear 4 Luffy's, sorry, not Gear 4 Luffy, third gear Luffy's Elephant Gun, which by Dressrosa should be Continental. Then again, you could maybe argue that Franky is punching him with like Continental levels of attack potency, but again, it's one of those things where like, again, it's just a bunch of like scaling that doesn't exactly properly, you know, flow into each other, right? When you're developing an argument for power scaling, let's say you have, in order to create, like, let's say your argument, right? Not your claim, but like the overall evidence. Let me actually slow down a little bit. So, when scaling, right? Let me make this bigger. All right. When scaling, you want to have a claim, right? You want to have a claim. When scaling, you want to have a claim. In order to now, this claim isn't your entire argument. The claim is only the basis of what you are arguing. In order to support the claim, you need evidence. In order to support the claim, you need evidence, right? You need evidence. This evidence can always, now this evidence should flow into itself. Evidence, you need evidence. Evidence should flow into itself through what I like to through what I like to call lines of logic. Evidence should follow consistent lines of logic, and your lines of logic should flow into one another. Let's talk about, for example, the Naruto Lightspeed meta, right? Let's talk about, for example, the Naruto not the Naruto Lightspeed meta, the One Piece Lightspeed meta, right? My claim is One Piece is faster than light. What is the evidence for One Piece being faster than light? You have a character here that uses an attack, that uses an undiscovered particle that is consistently mentioned to be light. That is consistently mentioned to be light, so that's evidence. It's consistently mentioned to be light again, evidence. It's consistently it's also considered light again, so again, evidence. Luffy dodges said light. Luffy dodges said light. The light is called photons. So again, my line of logic here is that my claim is that One Piece is faster than light. I'm supporting this with evidence by stating that there is already a point in the series where the characters are using an attack, or at least a character is using an attack that uses photons, light, and light again, and repeatedly calls it light. The evidence now is following a consistent line of logic. The consistent line of logic is that this attack is made out of light, for example, right? Then the lines of logic should flow into one another. So how do they flow into one another? This character uses an attack that is made out of light. These characters right here are blitzing Luffy, who could previously dodge said light. Luffy is able to increase his speed beyond the ability to already dodge said light. Luffy is increasing his speed tenfold. They're dodging beams of light that are already being, even if you don't want to believe any of that for whatever reason, Kuma is using an attack that is shooting out
of this attack at Zoro,
shockwaves that are being accelerated at the speed of light. Then he shoots a beam of light that, let me mute this. Then he also shoots out a beam of light that is, and Zoro doesn't move after the beam has already been shot, so on and so forth, and then you get your argument, right? That is a more consistent line of scaling. This right here creates an argument that is extremely sound, extremely comprehensive, and flows all into itself, right? Okay. You don't buy Continental Dressrosa characters? That's fine. You don't have to. Not the entire thing. He split part of it. It says he split a continent. It says again, he split the continent, and the continent is so tough that pickaxes and fire cannot scratch it. Let me make one thing about like hardness, right? In order to scratch hardness, in order to resist deformation, indentation, and scratches. In order for something to be scratched, it has to be hit by something that is hard. It has to be scratched by something that is harder from it, right? That is harder than it, right? That is why a steel nail cannot scratch, let's say, a diamond or corundum or topaz. It cannot scratch it. In order to split a continent of ice that is tougher than a pickaxe can damage it, you have to hit it with something that is not only harder than it, you have to employ enough force for someone to say split. You do not have to be convinced by it, because at the end of the day, Don Chinjiao states himself that his grandson, that his grandson is able to also split the continent of ice. I don't need to see the entire continent be split for me to sit there and believe that they split the continent. Oda doesn't have to draw an entire continent being split. Oda does not have to draw the entire continent being split. He just has to say, they split the continent, they split the continent, here is a feat of them splitting the continent. We don't know how large the continent... Let me actually explain something to you. If a country like Alabasta, again, a country, an island like Alabasta is considered an island and a country, it's not considered a continent, what do you think a continent in One Piece would be? Through logical induction. How big do you think a continent in One Piece has to be if a country like Dressrosa is considered, at least through pixel scaling, and do with that information what you will, it's considered to be like, let's say, about the size of something like, I don't know, like something, let's say, like the size of ooh, this is a nice one. Something the size of Australia, for example. 784 P1. It's always nice to find some of these. What chapter does Donsai... I always forget this fucking chapter. 777. Oh, it's 777. I was a little off. Or is that 777 or 771? Is it 771? No, it was 771. Yeah. Right here. Oh, look, it's Ace. That's a nice image. Ooh. Isn't the continent called a sheet of ice? It's called the Jeweled Ice Sheet, but it is a continent. It is considered a continent. It is stated to be a continent. I don't care if you want to consider it a sheet of ice or blah 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 blah. Also, there are souls in One Piece. There just are souls in One Piece for whatever reason. Dressrosa. I'm gonna take this. Yeah. Your true power has awakened. Your training of blood, sweat, and tears has finally borne fruit. The secret of Hashoken has been passed down onto you. Sai, I now christen your deadly leg with the name Drill Dragon Nail. I have seen that your foot is powerful enough to split the continent of ice. There you go. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I feel like if a character is stated to be able to split a continent of ice, if the character then splits a continent of ice, and then that same character, not anybody else, no, that same character who could split the continent of ice says that you can now split the continent of ice. Had to forklift stuff? Are you a certified forklift driver? I'm so jealous. I kind of want to drive forklifts. Honestly, to me, it always looks like the beam went over his head and got hit. And he got hit by the explosion. I need actual evidence of splitting the continent of ice. Here's the actual evidence of splitting the continent of ice. Here it is. He split it. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's awesome, Drake. Here it is. He split the continent. Yeah, like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, do you really need to see the whole continent be split for the feet to be in front of you, the statements for there to be two statements of feet? Jesus Christ. You could believe whatever you want to believe, but it's not going to change my scaling, at least. Anyway. I don't know, man. That quite there is honestly a more impressive and definitive feat for an attack in One Piece being continental, at least in my opinion, then I don't know. The tailed beast bombs being considered continental, or Hashirama and what's his face Madara creating a valley, and yet people saying that that's continental in attack potency. Like, I don't know, man. At least within the context of the story, if you want to add like pixel scaling calcs or whatever, I guess you can. But like, I don't know, man. Within the actual statements and like actual canon evidence, I don't know what else I could give you, man. Like, a manga artist is not going to always just... A manga artist isn't always going to just say, yeah, no, this is blatantly just like a planetary thing, right? Like, if an attack's... Like, if a character, like, I don't know... if later on in the story it says, yeah, no, Luffy has the power to destroy the world by I don't know, like 5 different characters, but somebody says, yo, I'm not convinced. He hasn't destroyed the world, man. I don't know. He hasn't destroyed the world. Like, what do you want me to tell you, man? I don't know what to tell you. How strong and fast is a pacifista compared to most Naruto arc villains? Orochimaru gets absolutely blasted to Kingdom Come. So does Zabuza. Orochimaru again gets blasted to Kingdom Come. Shukaku and Gaara get blasted to Kingdom Come. Well, maybe not Shukaku, but definitely Gaara. Fucking the Sound 4 get blasted to Kingdom Come. Deidara gets blasted to Kingdom Come. Sasori gets blasted to Kingdom Come. Kakuzu and Hidan both get blasted to fucking Kingdom Come. Like, none of them are dodging a light beam. None of them are dodging any of those attacks. Like, I don't see how they actually take down a pacifista. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really don't see how they take him down. That's like saying the Ten Tails bomb isn't strong because we don't see it fully wipe out a country. I'm not saying that it's not strong. I never said it wasn't strong. What I'm saying is it is a more definitive line of scaling. It is more definitive and more. And there is more evidence packed onto this than saying, oh, the Ten Tails blew up a country. I never saw it blow up a country. I just know it made really big explosions. And it made really big explosions over a continent. I don't know how big the continent is. I have no fucking context for how big it is. It's never stated. It's never shown. I know you don't gotta be continental for you to split a continent. You don't have to be continental to split a continent. I don't know, man. That's if you go by actual pixel scaling and shit, and you go by, like, the physics-based calcs. I don't go by that shit, though. Yeah, Young Dun Chinja was crazy too, to be honest. But, like, the scaling is sort of weird then, because it's like, does that mean that that version of Garp and this version of, that version of Garp is, like, about as strong as this? Well, not even necessarily, because Garp did beat him. How about Akatsuki versus a pacifista? That might be interesting, but that's, but well, let me cross over to this real quick. I did want to talk to you guys because there are at least, next video. And please vote on this. Whenever you guys get the opportunity to. I'm not gonna base it off of it, especially since there's only so many viewers here. Mostly just because I don't want to base my entire next video on like only 13 or 14 people. I want to like leave it up and just see how long it happens. So, next video idea. Not definitive. But it'll at least give me an idea of what you guys think. Sukuna versus Dio. I'd have to scale the entirety of fucking JoJo's, dude. I'm not doing that. I'm not reading through part 1 and 3. I might even have to scale part 2, technically. I'm not doing that right now. I do want to scale JoJo's eventually, but I'm not doing that shit right now, man. Like, it's gonna take me a while just to get through it. But anyway, how far does Sukuna... And no, I won't be glazing my King Sukuna. The Sukuna get into One Piece. I'm talking about Sukuna from JJK. Sure, whatever. How far does Sukuna get into One Piece? Naruto B Part 2. Naruto and B versus Fujitora. Follow up. Scale. Making a claim. Please vote on this whenever you guys get the thing. I'm gonna leave it up until I leave later on. I've got like 30 minutes left, so this will be up. Okay, then what about Whitebeard Pirates versus the Shinobi Alliance? That's a lot of people, dude. I guess I could do that. That's not bad. Fuck it. I already put up the thing. Let me write that down though. I do like that idea, Bob. Let me write that down. Let me write that down. I do like the idea of like the Whitebeard Pirates versus like the Shinobi Alliance. Oh, there you go. Someone did also bring up like Zoro versus Don't Sleep on Itadori. Where the fuck did I write that? How strong is Kobe? What the fuck? Zoro versus Chihiro. It was Zoro versus Chihiro. Zoro versus Chihiro, and it was Whitebeard Alliance versus Shinobi Alliance. Why do you think the Pacifista can handle mountain tier attack potency? Because of something like this. I got you right now. I didn't bring up this point. I didn't think about it until later. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I'll continue to do research with chat. I don't know if I'll continue to do research with chat up. I might give it one more go, but it's mostly just because... One second. What episode does Luffy appear in Kuma's backstory? 1129. The Kuma flashback has begun. How many episodes was it? 1129. It was like, what, 9 episodes? 1129. What is it, like here? Bonnie left, which means it has to be the episode prior, right? The Doriki scale. Who other than Marco, Jozu are doing something? You'd be surprised if any of those pirates can actually fight against... Okay, let me do this, and let me put it at ×2 so I don't get copyright claimed. So, okay. Okay. So you see this giant thing? Look how tiny Luffy is, just for a second. That's how small Luffy is, right? That's how small Luffy is. This is pre-time... This is before the start of the series. I want to make it clear. This is before the start of the series. This is a year before the start of the series. Luffy is not done training before this. Just crashes the whole thing. Like, there's nothing in the background of it. We'll go at it one more time. Goes in, smashes the whole thing in a single hit. We're not saying he's boulder level. Dude, you see how fucking large this thing is? You see how fucking huge this thing is? That's not a boulder. That is not a boulder. That is not a boulder. I'm not going to say this is like a 200-meter tall mountain. I'm not going to say that either. How to power skill is extremely important in my opinion. That's necessary for all power skilling bits to come. Otherwise, people will just disagree with your takes unreasonably for that large boulder level. Oh, what if the Whitebeard... What are the Pirates of Marineford and the Ninja Alliance for the 3rd Ninja War? There was... Oh, for the 4th Great Ninja War? That's not bad. Dude, that's a massive video, though. Fuck. Marineford versus Shinobi Alliance. That's a massive... A big rock hill formation. I think it's at least a hill. But, like, the point I'm trying to make... is... This is an extremely... Like, listen. Luffy is about... That is a really good one. I really do appreciate that one. I'll definitely focus on that one. I'll probably do that one towards, like, the end of the year as, like, a much, much larger video. Because that one might actually take me, like, an hour. No, you're fine. You're fine. Dude, this is at least a couple of fucking stories tall. Like, the closer Luffy gets into it, the smaller he fucking gets, man. That is at least taller. That is at least bigger than a fucking tailed beast. A Kaido-sized boulder. That is not 20. That is not like what? What is Kaido, like 23 feet tall? He's like what, 23, 25 feet tall, something like that. That there's no way I'm gonna be convinced that like way bigger than fucking Kaido. Way fucking bigger than Kaido. Mountains are kilometers wide and wouldn't say that's a mountain, especially when the manga is more ambiguous. That's fair. That's fair. I'm not saying it's a mountain, but what I am saying is that if Luffy can shatter this thing, with a single fucking kick, and a later version of himself a later version of himself is comparable to Kaku, who can slice the entirety of the fucking tallest building in Enies Lobby clean through. Zoro overpowers that, and then at Pacifista, for context, that is an extremely large hill. Several story tall boulder is at least several millions of pounds. Luffy not only shatters it with a single kick, not a second gear kick, not a hockey imbued kick, raw physical strength. Kaku, who is much stronger than this version of Luffy, slices through an entire building. The building feat honestly seems a lot less impressive by sheer virtue, but let's just say the attack potency is way greater than what the building's, I don't know, weight and size is. Oh, it's right here. Zoro overpowers that with Asura. Zoro objectively overpowers it with fucking Asura, right? Zoro overpowers it with Asura. Luffy is stronger than all of that. Zoro hits a Pacifista with an Asura that is about as strong, if not allegedly stronger, depending on whether or not you're going to go with the, they get stronger after every island statement, and he couldn't slice straight through the Pacifista. As a matter of fact, he couldn't even break through its clothing. Luffy has to hit, not only does it have to take its own beam of light explosion, multiple attacks from the entire crew, explosions, a lightning bolt straight through its midsection, and then a giant fist. Like, listen, I don't know, man. All I'm saying is, I don't know if a mountain is withstanding all of that shit, especially through sheer raw attack potency. Could an atomic bomb do the same thing in a concentrated direct attack to a giant rock? Probably. I don't know, man. I think an atomic bomb would pulverize or melt it. Yeah, it would probably do that. That's minimum more than 50 meters. That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is Luffy can already, at the start of the series, can take out, let's say, a 50-meter tall boulder, and you're telling me that him, a stronger version of him, multiple arcs down the line, what is it, like 4 or 5 arcs down the line, plus a 10 times amp, isn't mountain level? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of hard because, like, they're never exactly busting mountains, but, like, Garp is using mountains as punching bags and shit. So, I don't know. It's kind of rough, kind of tough. Not a mountain island level? Or fighting Laboon. Yeah, no, Laboon is fucking huge. Bob also brings up another fucking good point, man. By the way, Bob, let me make you a moderator for this as well. I don't know why I don't have you as one. Let me make you a moderator. I don't know why I didn't have you as one. All I'm saying is that, like, okay, the lines of scaling that I provided for this video, I will say, especially after sitting back and, like, editing through it, and, you know, the criticisms I also got from Six and some of the other members. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It's all completely fair, and I completely agree with them. It wasn't my best work. I can definitely agree that it's not my best work, but the part of the biggest reason why I wanted to keep the video the way that it was and just add in the text is because I can always just make up for it later on with a follow-up video. I think a follow-up video can have me go over a lot of the points that I missed and then go over the whole chain scaling debacle that I was talking about before. I think it's completely fine. Why do fellas not talk about the energy steroids? There's absolutely broken abs. They double exponentially, not like Kaioken or SSJ. That's a 50 times amp. 10 energy steroids makes you 1,000 times stronger. 30 makes you 1,000,000,000 times stronger. But the thing, PNG of the thing, is Laboon 300 or 400 meters tall? A small mountain is at least 400 meters tall, so Luffy and Laboon are at least mountain level. I got you right now. Actually, yeah. My bad. I forgot to bring that up. I got you right now with the Laboon thing. Yeah, they legitimately thought that he was, like, the size of a mountain. They legitimately thought that, like, Laboon was the size of... What was it, like, 1101? It should be, like, around 1101. It's reverse mountain. Jesus fucking Christ, these things are big. Jeez, man. This shit is huge. Holy crap. Sea Kings are massive. Wow. One Piece... Not East Blue. I'll just throw it in the Alabasta stuff. I don't really care to, like, separate it. Yeah. He's Naruto B versus really so deep that it needs a video? Just Tengai Shinsei's them. Well, it's deep enough that I do need to rectify a lot of the mistakes that I made on this video. It is important enough for me to at least rectify them, and if people want to see it, people want to see it. I think it's completely fine. Depending on, like, what people, like, vote on for this, I might skew me more towards one or the other, but these will probably be somewhere around the next 3 videos I make, unless I reach 10k subscribers, which then, whatever I was going to make at that point, it'll just be superseded by Luffy versus Naruto. Sea Kings also like to derp. Yeah, giant destructive derps, yeah. How big is the Going Merry? How tall is Going Merry? I really need to get some food, man. 11 meters tall? Okay. Yeah, so these things are probably over 100 meters in terms of size. I'm still a bit skeptical putting the Pacifista's toughness relevant to 100 megatons or a gigaton of physical durability. I mean, that's fine if you want to be skeptical about it. I don't go by, like, those metrics of, like, does it really require 100 tons of TNT or 100 megatons or gigatons? I don't go by that kind of stuff just because in fiction, it doesn't usually follow the same lines of logic as real-world physics or logic. It just doesn't. You could probably try to apply it, but... Is that a fucking whale in one of their mouths? Jesus Christ, dude. Anyway. Oh no, it's a mountain. Yeah, it's a whale. And that's only part of, like, Laboon's head. Weren't you planning to do Madara versus Fujitora? No, I never... Did I say that? Goes crazy. Kid Frankie killed one. That's true. Kid Frankie did kill one. One Sea King... or 5 meters. I don't know about them being 5 meters, dude. Look at Going Merry. Yeah. Yeah, no, this thing is yeah, no, so if Luffy can hurt something like this, I don't know, man. I mean, it is a flesh and bones living thing, but, like, Luffy can by all intents and purposes kill Laboon whenever, not kill, but he can hurt Laboon. Let me retract it. He can't kill Laboon. I don't think he would either. But Luffy can 100% like deal heavy damage to Laboon, all things considered. What the hell are you doing? And that's also not to say that, like, Laboon has, like, the toughness of a mountain, but, yeah, I don't know, man. One Teeth alone is as tall as the Going Merry? Is it as tall as the Going Merry? I thought it was taller. I like how Luffy says, I'm coming back here and we're gonna fight again. Like, bro, Luffy's going to fucking turn this giant whale into sashimi, man. What the fuck is wrong with Luffy? Like, I got the point of this. I got, like, the whole point of this. Like, Luffy hurt Laboon, start up a fight with it so that the next time that they fight... No, it's not even... Dude, no. Laboon is its teeth are larger than the Going Merry. What are you talking about? Holy shit. A fishman fodder can survive the pressure of 10,000 meters. That would be 15,000 PSI. One energy steroid could withstand 30k PSI. Sheesh. Yeah. I don't know, man. All I know is that, like, okay, and let me just say this as well. The video is gonna be broken down into 2 portions, right? The video is gonna be broken down into 2 portions. I'm gonna look through the comments and see what other stuff that I could have potentially have missed. I know that somebody was bringing up, like, stuff like Killer B versus Kisame. I know there was a comment here about, like, Killer B versus Kisame from the panel I saw. Oh, let me see. You were probably talking about a different panel. That's fair. You're probably talking about this one, which, and then I could see where you're coming from. I could definitely see where you're coming from then. Jesus Christ, this thing is big. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. So... the Fujitora video would probably be set up... The Fujitora video would probably be set up as the following. I would go over the issues that I had with the first video, explaining over some of the decisions I made for the lines of scaling, some stuff I got wrong, and then me just completely agreeing with the fact that, like, yeah, no, Naruto and B should be capable of dealing with the Vice Admirals. The issue then is talking about Fujitora, and I know that some people are going to bring up, like, dealing with the third Raikage and blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck. Like, here's the thing that I feel like people will... Here's the thing that I feel like I'll just have to make sure that people understand that, like, the third Raikage, Madara's tree roots, all that shit is absolute fodder. You're getting censored like a criminal? Who sent? What'd you get censored with? In the Kuma flashback, do some crazy stuff before the story even began. Can it be used to upskill the beginning of the series itself? Yeah, I do believe it can be used. It's all canon to the story. I don't know why it wouldn't be capable of being used. 30 makes you a billion times stronger. That's crazy. Luffy's conquerors, Haki alone knocked out 50,000 of them. Yeah. Yeah. I don't believe that, like, the average... I mean, even if you want to say that, like, the average shinobi... Hey, Ryoshu, welcome back as a rookie. Thank you for becoming a member. I don't believe that, like, you know, Luffy knocking out 50k fishmen and they're all being, like, at the very least 10 times stronger than the average human. I don't believe that, like, someone saying, well, a Naruto ninja is 10 times stronger than the average human, which, sure, if you want to say that, but I don't think that, like, the average shinobi is just automatically speaking 10 times stronger than the average human. I'm aware of joules being used instead of explosive force metric, but I don't use it as much since I'm not experienced with it. I don't like how many joules of energy equals a megaton. I don't know. Okay. No, I see where you're coming from, Thor. I definitely see where you're coming from. I think that your metric of scaling is just as viable as using joules, in the same way that I think that it's just as viable as me just going by what is stated directly into the series. Power scaling is really just all about how you want to use a specific form of evidence and how well you are able to comprehensively use that in order to apply to your scaling. If your scaling uses joules of force or the amount of TNT necessary or explosive force, that's completely fine. I would never tell you that you're wrong. I can't necessarily say that I would agree with it by my own metrics, but and especially in a case where it's not a debate, I don't even have to disagree with you at that point. If we're talking, like, let's say, if I were to say, like, okay, convince me that a character is this strong based on the math, I would like to see the person do the math themselves instead of them relying on some random calc that somebody used. Only because at that point, I know that they know what they're... at least I know at that point that you at least have an idea of what it is that you were talking about in terms of the math, instead of just randomly picking out some random scale that you like the most and then using that, for example, right? Like, let me actually just bring this up. Rasen Shuriken versus Battle Wiki or some shit. I don't know, right? Regarding Naruto's Rasen Shuriken, right? Like, someone here is using Volue to do, like, 1.4 megatons of TNT. Like, if somebody were to, like, let's say, cherry pick... If someone were to, like, let's say, cherry pick this one thing right here to then say, okay, well, this is the math, but then you, for example, you were to go out of your way and say, well, no, I got a different value. I would rather see the person that is trying to convince me of, like, let's say, a specific kind of scaling to use the math themselves, mostly because at that point, I can kind of see, like, okay, they understand how to get these numbers. They have an idea of, like, how to use the formula, what numbers to impact, and they did the number pixel scaling themselves. So at that point, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't use it by my own metrics, but I also literally forgot Frankie surviving that big explosion. Which big explosion? Which big explosion are we talking about? The average human in One Piece is more durable than the average human in Naruto. The average human in One Piece would be superhuman in most series. There are several facts that are completely crazy. I would definitely say that Shinobi is 10 times stronger than a regular human, considering how easily Jonin speed blitz Neji and the Prodigy. There is a big gap between beginning and end of career. That is true, but also not every shinobi, especially in the Fourth Great Ninja War, is a... Oh, after Sabaody on Vegapunk's homeland. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Let me see if I can find it. Fuck, what was that chapter, actually? I always get confused with, like, the Straw Hats dispersal chapters. I always get so confused by where, like, the Straw Hats get sent. Like 20-something. I always get confused by that shit, man. But back to it. The average shinobi isn't actually a jonin. They're mostly chunin. Average shinobis are actually getting to chunin. In Naruto, at least as far as part 1 tries to proclaim, most shinobi go by the logic that, like, a jonin is the elite class. And while there are plenty of shinobi that are elite class in and of themselves, there are plenty of jonin, especially within the Fourth Great Ninja War. Not every jonin is that powerful. Not every chunin is as powerful as a jonin. 592? I got you in just a second. 516. I don't have 516. Oh. 516 P1. Thank you so much. You said 592. 592. 592. 592. Yeah. Holy shit, that's a big fucking... Frankie giving a thumbs up is funny as fuck. That's a big-ass fucking explosion, dude. Yeah, I'm about to head out myself in a bit, around 5 p.m. I'll give you guys another 8 minutes, but yeah. Let me actually take this with me right now, because I am going to need it for later. Just so I can always have an idea of, like, where the fuck the Straw Hat Pirates are at around this point in the story. He did in a recent video, they can tank it, but it's still a hard tank. Why don't you scale Naruto and B to the Biju bombs? They should be capable of overpowering Bijus at that point. Here's why. Here's why. I got you in just a second. 4th Great Ninja War. Was it part 2? B can't tank his own explosion. You paused your movie for the stream. Worth it? Oh, lovely. I appreciate that. He can't tank the explosion. Look at B. He's covered in blood. B is covered in blood. That's why. Sure, if you want to say that they can tank it, sure, but they're not... If you want to say that, like, they can survive them, sure, they're not tanking it without receiving heavy damage. That's his own Tailed Beast explosion. That doesn't come from the Ten Tails. He just flicks it right back. You can say that, like, their attack potency is that of mountain level at its highest peak, but it doesn't mean they punch at mountain level. That doesn't mean that they have the strength to lift up mountains, and that also does not mean in the slightest bit that they can tank their own attack. It's not like, let's say, Kaido getting hit with his own blast breath after Luffy reverted it back to him and him shrugging it off. In atomic tests that usually range in the hundreds of kilotons to single megatons in size, even Little Boy and Fat Man's mushroom clouds were bigger than Mount Everest. Jesus Christ. How big is Mount Everest? Kaido falling and the dust clouds engulf the surrounding trees. Wano. Where's Wano? Don't tell me I don't have the Gear 5 fight. Oh my god, I don't have the Gear 5 fight. That's so dumb. I don't have Gear 5. So, we didn't get anything done today, but yeah. I mean, I wasn't really trying to get much done other than trying to see, like, what you guys would like to watch and, what you guys would like to see next. And, what I should be working on. I think... The thing is that, like, I was feeling burnt out after that after working on this video for so long. I was kind of burnt out, in all honesty. It's not to say anything bad about, like, the video in terms of its content itself, but, like, besides I mean, I already went over this enough, but, like, I guess the topic of conversation had me a bit burnt out just because I was working on it for, like, 3 weeks at that point. If I do a follow-up on this, I'll probably, because I'm not working for the rest of the weekend, I don't have the time to. Next week, I'll probably stream on Monday. I will try to do some research again for it. I will go over some of the comments that I get over the weekend. Did I put it in? Okay, I did. I'll go over some of the comments that I had to go through in the weekend. Oh, it's the whole thing. But yeah, just as an example, like, Kaido got hit with his own blast breath, and he, like, just shrugged it right off. Hashtag free Bungus. What's weird is the Ten Tails does a Biju laser and Kurama's and Beast Tail block it. Yeah. To be fair, they don't, no. Kurama blocks it, and he loses his tails. B actually gets teleported. They snipped off a portion of it. B didn't actually tank it. B never tanked it. I have the thing right here. B and Kurama set up their tail. Oh wait, I have to go to 610 then. One moment. I'll show you. One moment. Just bear with me, please. 610. Yeah. So they do cover themselves in their tails, but B never actually tanked the attack. He got sucked in by Kamui. He says, nice control. You got them in right now. Sorry about the one leg, but here you go. And then he pops them all right out. He never tanked the attack. Kurama did, but he lost several tails worth through the attack. Didn't B take the brunt of the blast? He didn't. Never tanked the brunt of the blast. Never did. He also shows no signs of damage from it. Am I alone in being disappointed that Kurama formed just a chakra blob and not actually Kurama? I think it's fine. I think it looks cooler. Clearly, you need some more Sonic Racing. I'll probably do some more later, but by that time, I'll probably just be hanging out with some friends. I gotta eat right now. I woke up at like 8 and had breakfast at 10. I haven't had anything to eat since. Oh, by the way, thank you for the stuff, guys. How tough is Sentomaru, and why should he range in a powerful degree as a mid One Piece character, and by how much? Oh, yeah, the Sentomaru stuff was also stuff that, like, when I was looking back at it after I finished editing, I was like, I should have used some pre-time skip stuff. I should have used some pre-time skip scaling for him as well. One moment, please. 5'10", 5'11", 5'12", right? By the time that Sentomaru shows up, and again, Luffy and the others dodging beams of light. But again, Luffy and the others dodging beams of light. They blitz. He can keep up with Luffy, who has the capacity to move at the speed of light. Likely has combat speed, that's light speed, but let's just say he's not, which is completely fine. Sentomaru can completely, like, not only hit Luffy fast, but he can also send him flying and then keep up with said speed and still tag him right afterwards. He kind of just completely outscales Luffy by this point. Luffy can't do anything against him. He doesn't really tank many hits, but he does tank hits from Kizaru. So he does tank hits from Kizaru, and he can withstand an attack from Rob Lucci, who is at least comparable to Zoro, who can split an entire fucking city. So do with that information whatever you will. Which fandom uses the most mental gymnastics in One Piece? Admirals. Admiral stands. Admiral stands are 100% the most mental gymnastic dudes I have had the displeasure of talking with, dude. And I only say that displeasure because I'm like, dude, if you want to say that the Admirals are stronger, that's fine. But there's no argument you can use currently that's going to convince at least me. It's fine if you want to believe it. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because I don't really care. You're not going to convince me based on the evidence that is presently at hand. But that's just me. Random thought, but I'd like to hear your take on Sixpence. Yonko stands any day of the week. Type shit. See, Bob gets it. Bob gets it. Random thought, but I'd like to hear your takes on Six-Path, Sage Mode, Luffy, and Luffy's Naruto and Luffy's position on Egghead. Okay, would he be able to escape with the Straw Hats? Speed-wise, I just don't think he keeps up. I just don't think he keeps up, man. Naruto, I think that Naruto would have to make a metric fuck ton of... Naruto would essentially have to make a metric fuck ton of clones and use them to slow down all of the Gorosei while he tries to get away with everybody else. Yonko stands are the worst. At least Yonko stands can say that the Yonko have beat the Admirals. There's no argument there's no argument for an Admiral beating a Yonko. They've never beaten a Yonko. But anyway, neither you nor I, who knows how to read, nor anyone who knows how to read. Honestly, that's crazy. How much does Oda have to keep spoon-feeding you guys when it's stated that the Admirals are the world's strongest power? Where is that stated? Give me a chapter. Give me a chapter, please. It's 5 p.m. Actually, I'm done. I'll give you 5 minutes to give me a chapter. If not, have fun with that. Okay. I'm going to start closing up tabs. I do have to read Modulo, but I'm going to do that in my own time now since I don't have the time to do it. Long ring long when Robin sees Aokiji. Right. Long ring long. Right. I asked for a chapter, you give me a vague point in time. Fuck me, man. Oh, no, it's Naruto shit. One Piece. Chapter 3. The fuck is long ring long happen? Give me a second. Let me see this bullshit. Where the fuck is long ring long? 319. Cool. 319. Okay. 316. Maintaining the agenda is our top priority type shit. Oh, there we go. The Navy headquarters who hold the rank of admiral. The only one above them is the fleet admiral. The world government calls these three the ultimate military force. Yeah. Wow, they're in the world, right? They're the strongest power in the world. Yeah. Nice interpretation. The admirals are strong. I agree, they're strong. I never said they're weak. They just never beat it. They just never beat a Yonko. When have they ever beaten a Yonko? That's literally the only thing I need to say. Give me a piece of evidence where they have definitively defeated a Yonko. They haven't. That's literally just all I have. That's all I need. That's not the statement. What's the statement then? Okay, I'll read through the whole chapter. He's Admiral Aokiji. Even the Navy, they hold the Admiral. How dare you? Here's another curvy lady. So what's with him? Ultimate military force. Nico Robin. Stand here. La, la, la. You said Robin makes the statement, right? Right here. He's gonna say it's impossible. Basically, move to a village. Are you gonna go 3 islands? You planned on going? No, this man can make it happen. Pretty great things, considering. He makes the continent chili fruit. There's the power of a Navy Admiral. This holds for a week. Village, you turn it into a continent of ice. Yeah. Thank you. It'll be gone. Should missed. How I describe it. It's cold. That's great. Luffy, what's the matter? I decided to change my mind. Okay. The government still thinks highly of you guys. Only lose a grip. Although you're small in number, collection makes it troublesome. I faced many ruthless villains over the years. You guys are starting to scare me. Yeah. The amount of bounty doesn't just reflect the criminal strength. There's also danger level someone possesses to the government. The bounty placed on your head was only 8 years old. Just when you were a child, you were trained, escaped, and unharmed. People took you in. With that cunning, you survived the underworld. The proof of the organization has been associated has fallen. Why would Nico Robin manage to get close to you? Are you trying to say, if you want to capture me, just do it? Train the Fleur. Perhaps how unfortunate she breaks him. This is terrible. I've ever done to be. You know what? Let me look this. Wait, what chapter was that? 319. One Piece TCB. Let me see if there's a different translation in TCB, because I don't think I'm gonna find it. I don't think I'm gonna find it after that. I'll just send it to Discord later. The ultimate military. It's the same fucking statement, dude. I don't know, man. I don't care. Dude, I don't care. He's advancing in age. All he needs to rest and avoid the retirement. Oh, fuck you. Now that's a continental feat. Fantastic. Sure. Closing up. I'm gonna keep Mojulo up. How much effort do you think Kizaru was putting in against Sentomaru? Do you think he was casual against him? I don't think he was casual. The way Kizaru was moving, I don't think he was casual. I don't think he was casual. Kizaru dealing with, like, the guys from... Kizaru dealing with all the pirates from... what's-his-face? Sabaody Archipelago. That was casual. Kizaru versus what's-his-face? That's not... Garp was toe-to-toe with Roger and Rocks, which upscales Kuzan and Akainu. His prime is close to his own... I don't believe that. I don't agree with it. Another L for Yonko. It's like Christmas. What's the L, though? How the fuck could you even remotely look at that? Oh, let me look at that stuff real quick, then. How the fuck can you even remotely see that and then say... Oh, hey, yeah, no, you took an L, bro. This is crazy, bro. Oh, yeah, absolutely insane, dude. Absolutely. I don't see anything here. Interview. Okay, the Transcendent stuff. Shook. Okay, I can see all this stuff. Okay. Verse. Thank you. And then videos. Core. The episode 1, episode 2, episode 10, episode 1, episode. Okay, yeah, I can see them. Okay, we got them. Okay, yeah, we got them. I don't know how the fuck you could literally see me pull out the fucking scans and then say, oh yeah, no, this means that they're the world's strongest power. Like, bro, what what are we talking about here? Like, you have to be trolling me at this point, right? Like, they have to be trolling. 8 Nami and underrated goat. I think she is. Yeah. Thank you so much, by the way, Jeff. I saw the timestamps. Hot take, Kizaru is even more pathetic than Green Bull? Probably. What did I get here? Oh, that was just from a friend. It's fine. Beans keep you healthy in the retirement home. I don't believe that. Show the bean closet. We know that you have it in your shed. Bungus had to go because he found out. That is so crazy. Looking at the fight, it doesn't seem like Sentomaru stood much of a chance against Kizaru. I'm not saying that Kizaru was, like, going all out. There's a difference between you going all out, trying, and being casual. Can you check Discord General to rate the drip of the character I sent? I could check it out here, but if I put it up on Discord on my computer, I promise you it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while to load up, and I'm really... Lady Pain? What the fuck are you talking about? In general? You said? That's pretty cool, drip. They're wearing a fucking storm cloud? What the fuck? That's pretty cool. That's pretty chill. Yeah, Electric Sheep, Don Quixote. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for voting on this. I really appreciate it. It's like neck and neck with Fuji Torres getting curb stomped, bro. There's nothing he can do against Warcury. It seems to have ended in like in a 50-50. Oh, 37 last second. I think what I'll do is I'll do Sukuna in one piece. Yonko fans wouldn't ignore story. What? You're trolling. You're trolling. You almost got me. I was really about to crash out for a second because I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What story? What story are you talking about? The statement that says they're the ultimate military power? Cool? Fantastic? Before we're ever even introduced to a Yonko? Before we ever even know what a Yonko can do? Come on, man. Come on. Yeah, Kobe wants to be an admiral. Kobe also doesn't know, by the time he states his dream, how strong an admiral actually is, man. I don't even think he's ever even seen an admiral fight. You couldn't even have 3 admirals solo one fucking... 3 admirals fought him back to back. 2 of them walked away because they got fucking held back by commanders. Not to say that the commanders weren't defeated, just to say that they didn't beat Whitebeard. Whitebeard handled everything they hit him with, and then he literally sends out the allegedly strongest one of them and sends him down a crevice, and he doesn't even get the lick back because Whitebeard's already dead by then, man. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Like, can you give me one objective, blatant, without any kind of interpretation, piece of evidence that says a Yonko would lose to an admiral? Something that is objective. Something that, no matter how I look at it, I cannot give you any kind of interpretation, man. Just like Big Mom did to Wano. Just Jinbei did to Big Mom in Wano. What did Jinbei do to Big Mom in Wano? What did Jinbei do to Big Mom in Wano? Also, he didn't have an actual fight with her. That wasn't an actual fight. They didn't sit there and go toe-to-toe with each other for a while. That's so disingenuous. Like, the Admiral agenda is so fucking disingenuous, dude. You have to jump through so many hoops. You have to say, oh, well, Jinbei punched a smaller, thinner Big Mom off the ship. I guess he's young. No, he's not. There's nuance, man. He tossed her out of Onigashima. When did he toss her out of Onigashima? When did he toss her out? Give me the fucking chapter, dude. Didn't say anything about Big Mom and Wano like he did Kaido. Okay? He still said Kaido is the reason he wasn't pulling up. What the fuck? All right, whatever. I don't care. Just send me the chapter number, and then send me the chapter number, and then I'm getting off. Let me pull up a thing one more time. I'll have it up here. Dude, I don't care, man. I don't care, dude. What's going on, Kiera? Hey, what's up, Kiera? Sorry. I'm really sorry to say this, but I'm actually about to hop off stream. I'm actually closing up stream. I'm just waiting for one of my mods to send me a chapter, and then we're doing it. If you'd like, you can check out the rest of the stream. You can check out the rest of the stream when it's just fully up. Sorry that your first stream experience is me essentially leaving, but I will be streaming again on Monday once I start working on the next video. I'll let you guys know by the end of the week, by the start of the week next week, which will be the next video I work on. I might just do Naruto. I might just. It's fairish enough in my head that I can probably just work on it quicker. Dude, my stomach is growling. Fuck. Yo, Bob, I need to scan in like the next 3 minutes, dude. I need to eat something. The only time I remember Big Mom getting knocked out of Onigashima was when. The only time she got knocked off of Onigashima was when Kid, Law, and the others did it, right? I think you should do the part 2 video. I mean, it's close enough, and it's not like it's close enough to the other run, right? So it's like 36 to 37%, right, in terms of like the voting. I'm not gonna go eat some beans. Fuck you. I have a feeling I'm late. You are. I'm just waiting on a chapter, and I'm basically just hop off. I'm gonna get the other stuff, and I'll send it on Discord. You know what? I'm gonna click on. Okay, can you give me the actual like wait, time out. Can you give me the actual like? Is this after Eustace Kid and the others like take it in, or is this like before she goes up to the rooftop? Just tell me right now. Is it before she goes up to rooftop, or is it after she goes back into the island after getting Hera? Just say before or after, because it's definitely not at any point on rooftop. Jinbei never reaches the top. They literally don't take her out of Onigashima. Robin takes her out of the main hall and leaves her at the doors. Before rooftop? Okay, so that's before chapter 1000. So what, like... I'll start off at 90. I'll give you 20. When Luffy beats up the numbers. So we're starting off at chapter... Or at the 20s. We're gonna... This is sick. I do want this one. I want this one real quick. One Piece covers... 981... P1. Okay. Is Sentomaru stronger and more powerful than most Vice Admirals as he's multiple stronger than Doll and her comrades? I don't know about him. I don't know what would imply that he's stronger than them. He just held off against what's his face for a while, right? He just held off against what the fuck is their name? Against Kizaru for like a little bit. Like their fight really did not last that long. Okay, they shoot her with a cannon. Hand over the captain right now. Straw Hat Crew. Okay, the woman that kidnapped Zeus. Okay, Ulti, chapter 989. I'll keep going through these just to make sure I don't miss anything. Also, unironically, a more impressive feat than anything Karakuri's done at this point. Let me stop. I'm not trying to start up some Karakuri versus Ulti shit right now. Okay, so Jinbei's there. These guys are showing up. Yamato decides that she wants to join. This is pretty cool. Let me take this one in. 985, P1. Katakuri legit perception blitzed Luffy, though. 180 perception blitzed Luffy. Before Luffy got his Wano amps? Yeah, okay. Did I hear you calling my name, Kaido? Big Mom, Olin, Oiron... We're going to claim the One Piece. She's there. Slices Orochi's head off. Doesn't matter because Orochi grows his head back. It's Yamato. He's about to whack the kid. Yeah, it's in 989. Okay. I'm just going to pick some of these up. I'm just going to pick some of these manga covers up while I get it. Do I already have this? Wait, do I already have this? 87. Okay, I do. Better use that one more. Goes up to the sky, sure. 88. She blasts Sikoku's sovereignty. Luffy dodges it. Rides on her face. Cool, I guess Frankie's Yonko level then. I suppose he's Yonko level. Okay, blasts her with a radical beam. She reacts to it. Grabs the thing up, shoots it sideways. They roll her. Wow, I guess they're Yonko level. Dude, get the fuck out of here with this disingenuous shit. Get the fuck out of here. Wow, they got Big Mom rolling. The fact that Big Mom just seems incompetent at times does not mean that they're equally as powerful as she is, nor does it mean that they can verbatim put her down if they all fought her, dude. That is so fucking disingenuous, dude. Wow, he grabs her arm. Wow, she doesn't know that he's behind her. Oh, huh? Look, she's even surprised, man. Come on. Yeah, no. You literally argue Akainu being inferior via BFR. I literally argue it because, bro, you cannot, bro, how blind can you be? I'm sorry, how blind can you freaking be? What is it? 1 second. Let me get Ace. Let me see Ace die first, and then we'll do this real quick. What is it like? This is not the same thing. You tell me real quick. You say this right now. This is the exact same thing. The counter argument does not work for one specific reason. He got fucking blasted. He is bleeding. He is coughing out blood and he cannot get himself up. He is doing it out of reeling pain. She literally just got grabbed and just got rolled off. That is two completely different circumstances. Get the fuck out of here with that disingenuous shit, man. I'm done. Admiral stands are quite literally some of the most disingenuous arguments I've ever seen, dude. We're literally comparing apples to fucking potatoes. We're comparing fruits to vegetables at this point, dude. All right. I'm done, boys. I hope you guys enjoyed the little fucking crash shot at the end. It's fine. What's up, Lapis? What's up, Drake? I'm gonna get off and just have some lunch. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I hope you guys have a wonderful fucking weekend, all of you. I'm here. You're not collecting any bullshit from me, man. But yeah, please get some water, guys. Get some sleep, brush your teeth, do all the nice stuff. I'll talk to you guys. What do you mean you won? Oh yeah, no, you're definitely just rage baiting. I'm gonna start just ignoring everything you say. You're just rage baiting. Do you think Sentomaru is large country tier? If he's stronger than Luffy, you could. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm exhausted, dude. Literally cooking Whitebeard. All right. The observation hockey is focused when your next meal is coming. By the way, I kind of failed twice to beat Whitebeard. That's what I'm saying, but I guess they don't. I don't know. Anybody else notice the eyes turning white when he gets hit and coughing and screaming on the ground? That's what I'm saying, but I guess we're just reading two different stories. He literally fell down. Yes, because he couldn't get up. And if you look at even the anime iteration of it, he can't even get back up. He is literally there, sliding off slowly, coughing out blood. Do I have to just bring out the fucking video for it? I don't know, man. Anyway, I'm done. Have a good night, guys. You need to read my last message? What was your last message, Memento? Beans... No, I'm not... No. He perception blitz Luffy and Snake Man. I could care less what the anime shows. That's fair. You could care less what the anime shows. The manga shows he's coughing out blood. The manga shows that Big Mom is just getting rolled off. I don't know what to tell you. The manga shows he is clearly in pain. It's not like, oh, I got hit. Oh, no, I'm falling. Oh, God, no. The manga literally shows, boom, big hit. Blood bursting out of his fucking mouth, and then he falls down, dude. I don't know, man. Anyway. Pretend like Oda has no input in the anime's adaptation in his material. And Kaido was coughing out blood from the scabbards too. Bleeding don't mean much. It does mean much. It does mean much when Kaido, it does mean much. Actually, it means quite a bit, quite a lot. When Kaido literally says your attacks are still too shallow and Akainu can't get up from the attack. But anyway, there's no deal, dude. There's no deal. Axe Hand Morgan Garp level. type shit. Axe-Hand Morgan is stronger than a Yonko, apparently. type shit. Do you take part in agenda piece? I don't really care for agendas. Like, here's the thing. I am more than willing to make a follow-up video saying the admirals are now as strong as Yonko when I see an admiral with no bullshit, no interpretation, no nothing, objectively defeat a Yonko. When I see that, I'll even make a video. Hey, what's up, IMAX? Alright, guys, I'm off. See you later. No, they are no. When did they beat a... Give me the manga chapter where they beat a Yonko. Give me the manga chapter where they beat a Yonko. Present it. Present the manga chapter. No bullshit interpretation. Blatantly, objectively has defeated a Yonko. The Yonko is down on their back. They cannot get up. The Admiral is standing above them victoriously. Show me it.
Show me it. I want to see it. Chapter 1483? Getting rage baited to extend the stream is crazy. I know. I'm just letting myself get rage baited at this point. Alright, guys. Have a good night. Yeah, because of his illness. Because of his illness. Not because of anything Akainu even remotely did. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think the Vice Admiral should scale in a tiering sense? Less than... I don't know, man. And I don't really care at this point. I'm going to figure that out whenever I work on that video. Have a good night. Well, good evening, actually. But yeah, guys, please get some rest. Please have a good night. Every single one of you, even the ones I disagree with. But yeah, guys, take care.